Hey everybody, it's Miss Huval. This video is for English 2 Honors. It's for Act 5, Scenes 6, 7, and 8 of Macbeth. When last we toured together, last Friday, we made it a little ways into Act 5 of Macbeth, and I thought you might want to know how it ended. So I put this together for you. It's very rough. You know me, I'm not particularly good at this kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm taking a stab at it for you guys. So, end of Act 5. I thought maybe we could review a little bit of what happened on Friday when we read. But while I'm reviewing, see if you can find your Macbeth book and see if you can get to Act 5, Scene 6, because that's where we are. I don't know what page it is because I don't have my book. It's at school. So you need to find it in your book. I have it pulled up on a PDF on the internet. You can find one too if you need it. I also have pulled up the audio that we've been using in class. So I'm going to play the audio for you. You read along in your book, and I'll stop and talk to you about it as we go through. There is really not much left at all. So, to review, Act 5 opens with Lady Macbeth sleepwalking. We find her in a terrible state, attended by the doctor and the gentlewoman. The doctor and the gentlewoman are both talking about how the things that Lady Macbeth is saying, she should not be saying. And we find out very quickly that she is spilling the beans in a lot of ways about a lot of things that happen. Number one, she's talking about the death of Duncan. I believe she says something like, who knew the old man had so much blood in him? She talks about Banquo. She says the Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? We know the Thane of Fife is Macduff. And so pretty much is talking about how maybe she and Macbeth had a hand in the death of Lady Macduff. All these things are very alarming to the doctor and to the gentlewoman attending Lady Macbeth. And they vow that they don't want to ever tell anybody, or they don't want to be around her again when she's sleepwalking like this. Very quickly, we switch to two different scenes. We've got Macbeth in his castle called Dunsinane, feeling real good about things. He still believes that no one can defeat him who is of woman born, and he still believes that nothing bad can happen to him until Birnam Wood comes to Dunsinane. Now, we found out a little bit earlier that Malcolm has instructed his men to hew down boughs from trees and hold them in front of them as they advance on the castle. And they happen to be in Birnam Wood, as luck would have it. They are holding trees in front of themselves, and the point of this is to disguise their numbers so that the people in Macbeth's castle cannot see them, figure out how many of them there are. Okay, so that part of the prophecy seems like it might not hold up, but we still are clinging to, Macbeth, I should say, is still clinging to, no man of woman born can defeat him. And that's kind of where we are, except for one horrible, horrible, horrible piece of news that Macbeth has received, and that is that Lady Macbeth is dead. Now, we assume she killed herself based on her state of mind and all the stuff that's been happening. Now, that's not been verified for us yet. However, this information prompts Macbeth to make a very heartfelt speech, not about how great his wife is and how much he loved her, which might have been nice, but he does have a battle on his mind that he's in the middle of fighting. He makes the tomorrow, tomorrow, and tomorrow speech. And we see from that speech just how empty of a shell we have left. In his speech, he says, all of the yesterdays and all of the tomorrows lead to one place, and that's oblivion. Okay? He compares life to a story, to an actor, to a candle. And in all of these circumstances, he says life is like a candle that just goes out at any second. Life is like an actor who gets on stage and acts out his part. And once he gets done, there's nothing left of it, which is kind of true, but still sad to think of. And then he says like it's a tale full of the sound and fury, signifying nothing. Okay, so life is compared to those three things metaphorically, and we find that this man, he doesn't have any hope. He doesn't have any friends. He's made a speech about that as well, that his lot in life is not to be honored and praised and not to have friends to attend him in his old age, that the path he's taken has resulted in him being on set on every side by his enemies, all of whom have caught on to everything he's done. So how can you even feel bad for him? Somehow I still do, though. I don't know. Call me a sap. Anyway, so we see him in the castle. He can't go anywhere. He's being attacked by all of the forces. They're coming after him with trees in front of them, disguising them. So that's where we're going to begin. Act 6, oh, excuse me, there is no Act 6. Act 5, Scene 6. And I hope you found it. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to play the audio. You're going to read your book, and I'm going to read along with it. And I'll stop every so often, and we'll discuss. Okay? Here we go. I'm hitting play. And of course, we always have the wonderful horns. Make sure it's loud. Okay, we're at Dunsinane before the castle.
Now near enough.
This is Malcolm.
Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macbeth and we shall take upon us what else remains to do, according to our order.
Fare you well. If we would find the tyrant's power tonight, let us be beaten, if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath. Those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
All right, so they've thrown down the branches. The trumpets are sounding, and they are attacking the castle. You'll see there we got Malcolm, we got Seward, we got Macbeth. All three. If you remember, Seward was a guy that they got in England who was loaned to them by the King of England. So that's who Seward is. Okay, not to be confused with young Seward, who's coming up in the next scene. He is the son of Seward, and you'll see in scene 7, he has a confrontation with Macbeth that doesn't go so well for him. Here we go, scene 7. That was it. That was all of scene 6. Here we are in scene 7.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one I am to fear, or none.
What is thy name?
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
No, then I call thyself a harder name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No more fearful.
Thou liest abhor a tyrant. With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speak.
All right, they're fighting here. Young Seward will be slain shortly. Here we go. There he is.
Thou wast born of woman. At swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man that's of a woman born.
So there he is, clinging to that prophecy. Here comes Macduff.
That way the noises. Tyrant, show thy face. If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched Kern.
hands whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheathe again undeeded. There shouldst thou be. By this great clatter, one of greatest note seems bruited. Let me find him fortune, and more I beg not.
So Macduff wants it to be him and Macbeth at the end, face to face, fighting it out. Malcolm and Seward come in. They're headed to the castle.
The castle is gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do.
But met with foes that strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
Alright, another part of the field. Macduff and Macbeth. Face to face. Here we go.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword, while I see lives the gashes do better on them? Turn! Hellhound, turn! Of all men else I have avoided thee. But get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Okay, so as they fight, just go back and reflect on those words for a minute. Macbeth says, of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back, my soul is too much charged with blood of thine already. So admitting to what he's done and saying, look, I have no desire to kill you. I have enough of your family's blood on my hands. And Macduff says to him, I'm not talking to you. My sword is going to do the talking. And here we go. But what is Macbeth still thinking? That he's not going to be defeated by Macduff because he is born of woman. Here we go.
Thou losest labour. As easy mayst thou the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impresses make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable breasts. I bear a charming life, which must not yield to one a woman born.
To spare thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man.
All right, just to make sure you understand right there, Macduff says that he was untimely ripped from his mother's womb. We're assuming that means some sort of primitive type of C-section, so he wasn't born in the usual way. So maybe he can defeat Macbeth. All right, now Macbeth's about to make a reference to the witches. He's calling them juggling fiends, but he means the witches. That's what he's talking about.
And be these juggling fiends no more believed, that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear, and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee, lest
Yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole and under it. Here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would be countenance inane, and thou opposed being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on Macbeth, and down be him with first cries, hold him out!
Alright, so in the end, here they are fighting. It doesn't tell you this or show you this, but Macbeth gets the worst end of this battle. And you'll see very soon what he does. Now we're going to switch to Malcolm and Seward, who are at the castle. And Macduff's going to come in after having won this battle. We're almost there, we're almost at the end. music.
I would the friends we miss were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived until he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man, he died.
Then he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his knell is knolled.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well, and paid his score. And so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
All right, and re-enter Macbeth with Macbeth's head.
Whoso thou art, behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen henceforth be earls, who first that ever Scotland in such an honour named. Once more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace, we will perform in measured time and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one, whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.
This is how it ends. Malcolm's the king. Everyone's happy. Now, in Malcolm's last little speech there, he says of Lady Macbeth, he says of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. So that's where we get the idea. I'm fine. Once and for all.